Well done, Soap and Water! You got rid of all the germs on Achilles' hands.
The International University of Management, a Namibian university dedicated to its people's future, a hub of abundant opportunities.
We are IUM for life. We are IUM.
Good evening and welcome to Today on One. I'm Maggie Forciero. In the news tonight, SWAPO rejects electoral court order and calls for a rerun of elections in Kavango East. Aranos Town Council accused of hiring unqualified candidate. USS Herschel Whitty Williams Navy vessel docks at Walvis Bay Port. Agri-experts share the impact of COVID-19 on auctions. And Roundup, Business on One, Comments Corner, Sports and the Weather. SWAPO Party General Sophia Shiningwa has declared that the party will not participate in the recounting of ballots from last year's regional council elections in Kavango East's Ndonga Linena constituency as ordered by the Electoral Court. Shiningwa has demanded that the Electoral Commission of Namibia undertake a rerun of those elections, citing the ECN's alleged misconduct and irresponsible behavior are the reasons for the High Court to request a recount.
Last week, I received a letter from the ECN dated 17 September 2021, whereby the ECN is inviting the SWAPO party, amongst others, to participate in the processes of ballot recounting. The SWAPO party shall vehemently refuse to be used as a tool for validating unlawful acts. SWAPO party will therefore only participate if real, credible processes aimed at rectifying the wrongs done in Ndonga are undertaken, such as full rerun of the election processes.
Shaningwa's remarks comes after the All People's Party recently won a legal challenge against the Electoral Commission of Namibia, where the APP accused the ECN of wrongfully rejecting close to 50 ballots where voters placed a mark on the images of candidates who featured on the ballots rather than in the open space next to their portrait, which allegedly is the reason behind SWAPO's victory, where its candidate Michael Kampota won by 12 votes over the APP candidate Daniel Jami. Shaningwa added that the ECN's agenda is politically motivated and is aimed at tarnishing the image of SWAPO.
It is our conviction that the real agenda in this matter is a political agenda aimed at tarnishing the good image of SWAPO party. SWAPO party is a mass-based political organization, born and instilled in the crucible of the popular and heroic struggle for national independence. SWAPO party brought this freedom and independence to our motherland.
Shaningwa went on to say that the previous High Court order allowing access to the spoiled ballots was made without the SWAPO party's knowledge or collaboration, and that the SWAPO party's seal on the boxes was unsealed by people who were not known to SWAPO, and their agents were not invited to watch the process.
The SWAPO party seal was unsealed by persons not known to the SWAPO party, and our agents were not invited to observe the process. It is alleged that there were only 4 ballot papers for APP, and the SWAPO party was not invited to remove, unseal, or cut its own seal from those boxes. The question is, how did ECN and APP manage to open the ballot boxes without the presence of SWAPO party agents? The integrity of that election is compromised.
Attempts by the media to obtain a statement from the SWAPO SG on whether the party will challenge the Electoral Court's order for a ballot recount were unsuccessful. Shaningwa further stated that the party has lost faith in the ECN's ability to conduct free and fair democratic elections in Namibia without political interference.
Great combo deal from Choppies! Choppies, great value for your money.
Growing together, I think that means progress and not leaving anybody behind.
Walking hand in hand.
Working or walking?
Both. Together means we're pulling our weight.
You know you are never alone, and that is a very good feeling.
You can expect a win-win future.
If we're in it together,
we can grow together.
Matufa kukwika ndinondi kushamuhuka tukare novini koro vingi.
Who would I like to share my future with?
Somebody who cares for me.
I think someone I connect with that gets me.
Definitely someone willing to walk the distance. You know, put in the work.
Someone that has a track record of success.
Someone who knows our future is bright and worth the investment.
When growing together, I foresee a prosperous future, a secured future.
Sharing a lifetime, having a common objective.
Complete honesty.
I expect to see a future where there are no inequalities.
Buy shares in the initial public offering of MTC, which opens on the 20th of September 2021. It is a future worth investing in. MTC, make the connection.
The affirmative repositioning movement has called out the Aranos Town Council for advertising a post for operator driver which requires a grade 10 qualification but has hired a candidate with merely a high school testimonial. The movement also revealed that the candidate does not fulfill the requirements and was handpicked for the position.
According to affirmative repositioning AR movement activists, the candidate was appointed by the town council on May 1st, 2021. However, the HR manager discovered that the candidate did not have a grade 10 certificate not until May 6, 2021, after conducting a background check. The candidate has been in office for 6 days at this point.
Council letter dated 28 April 2021 informed you that you have been that you have appointed
that you have been appointed in the above mentioned position on a permanent basis. However, council discovered that your grade 10 certificate is not attached on your application, although you indicated in your CV that you have the same qualification. Now, this is a whole HR. The HR with years of experience, years of qualifications. During shortlisting, he does not go through the whole CV, the complete CV, to see if the required documents are attached and if they are certified. He just go on the words of what is indicated on the CV and just approve and shortlist the person and even go further and appoint him.
The AR is therefore calling on the principal of the Roy Dane Senior Secondary School to explain how they issued a testimonial stating that the candidate has passed grade 10 in 2013, while that is not the case.
You look at this testimonial which was applied by Mr. Kausit. He got the appointment letter on the 28th of April. And the police stamp here says 30th of April. So somehow, at some point, these people might have given back this testimonial to Mr. Kausit so that he can maybe just go and certify. Because by the time of shortlisting and everything, it's clear that this testimonial was not certified due to the aid of the police. So we are now giving them demands. Our first demand will be the principal of Royal Senior Secondary School, Mr. R. Sherivanga, should explain how he issued a testimonial which indicates that Mr. Mario Kausit completed grade 10 in 2013 at the state school. It is signed by the principal. I don't know how he came up with issuing this testimonial. It says clearly here, he finished grade 10 in 2013, which is never the case.
The AR movement read out a letter to the media where the candidate tells the Ranos Town Council HR that he is not qualified for the position and that the leadership of the council promised him the position despite him not having grade 10.
Appointed me and wrote to me an appointment letter. After you heard rumors from one of the candidates that was also part of the interview that I don't have the same qualifications, you write a letter to me which states that I should withdraw my permanent appointment. Thirdly, Mr. Armando John and Mr. Bafra was behind me, and you assured me that this position is mine. Sorry. In my CV, and you guys also drove to my parents' house, told me to go and practice a little bit with the workers using the JCB. Mr. George, you also gave me the job descriptions before the interview. Hans Bafra, you were also at my parents' house, and you told me that I have to give my mother, it's at my parents' house, and we will have a meeting with my parents. That's not clear. Let's just skip that. You told me in front of them, the job is mine, and I must give my mother $1,000 Namibian every year. Before I apply, Mr. George, I already told you that I did not finish my grade 10, and you insist that and told me to go to Mr. Sheviranga. Sheviranga is now the principal of Royden Secondary School. You told me to go to Mr. Sheviranga to take my testimonial of grade 10 and hand in my CV.
The AR movement is calling for the entire recruitment process to be restarted, despite the second best candidate being hired after this incident.
Get ready to enjoy Simba's sounds of flavor.
Hola Simba flavors. Let's roll. Liza, smoke beef. Kwenga finiga. Shaya chutney. Shakita mud.
Together we roll because Simba roars with flavor.
Hey kids, are you in primary school and want to get extra supplementary maths, English and science lessons? Then invite Learning In with One Africa TV's #LearnOn1 every weekday from 9 to 11 a.m. with repeats from 2 to 4 p.m. And thanks to NMH's MyZone, these lessons are 100% Namibian. There's so much to learn with #LearnOn1. Invite Learning In.
Every Saturday at 7 p.m., you can stay true to Namibia sounds with the Valentine's True Music Sessions. Only on 99 FM. Stay tuned. Stay true. There's no wrong way. Valentine's. Not for sale to persons under the age of 18. Drink responsibly.
A United States Navy vessel, the USS Herschel Woody Williams, recently arrived at the port of Walvis Bay for joint naval exercises with the Namibian Defence Force.
The USS Herschel Woody Williams is the first USA Navy vessel to be permanently assigned to the U.S. Africa Command Area of Responsibility. During the 3-day visit, the vessel's crew and the Namibian Defence Force members conducted 3 joint exercises. They include the first ever Namibian Air Force helicopter landing aboard a USA Navy vessel, a visit, board search and seizure exercise conducted by the Namibian Navy aboard the ship, and a joint USA-Namibia Navy passage exercise. Senior military and government officials toured the vessel on Friday morning and discussed future US-Namibia engagements.
Said earlier, this ship is the first ship assigned to U.S. Africa Command's area of responsibility. This is a testament to the United States' commitment of being ready and willing partner with Namibia, as well as other coastal African nations, in promoting a healthy maritime environment and security. The United States and Namibia have a proud history of working together. Namibia has been a steady participant in the annual Obigame Express exercise, whose objective is to increase multilateral communication and security against our mutual maritime threats. Meeting and working alongside our African partners during this deployment has been an enriching experience, where we have learned not only how to operate at sea together, but discuss solutions for West Africa's maritime security issues.
We were requested for this vessel to dock here, to pay a visit, and we don't see why it should not be allowed to come to the port of Walvis Bay, which is an international port. It's a port that we are invested in. We're working hard to ensure that this port becomes a port of call for international vessels and indeed vessels of our friends. So we are very much honored that this large vessel from the United States Navy is here paying a courtesy, and we think that it has put Walvis Bay Port in the map of the navigation map of the world. Perhaps there are people who do not know very well about Walvis Bay, or they have not paid attention to the capabilities of our port and our port managers and our Navy here. I think the presence of this vessel will send a clear message to everyone to say, no matter how large your vessel is, Walvis Bay is ready for you. So thank you very much for coming, Captain, and your colleague.
This visit showcased the important partnership between the United States and Namibia, as well as a shared commitment to ensuring security, safety, and freedom of navigation in Namibia and South Atlantic waters. The vessel can accommodate 100 uniformed crew members and 45 civilian crew members. An additional of 150 people can also be added occasionally. The crew departed on Sunday.
While other industries hung by a thread following the impact of COVID-19, livestock auctioneers had a different experience, says Willem Venter from Windhoek Livestock Auctioneers. He says farmers were still auctioning animals at a fair price, adding that the only noticeable difference was the attendance.
The impact of the COVID-19.
Willem Venter from Windhoek Livestock Auctioneers says the most devastating impact that he can recall was the 2019 drought. He recently shared this at an auction in Brakwater.
Everybody still marketed the animals normally. The only implications was that the gatherings, the people couldn't come, everyone. We had to make some movements there, limit the buyers. So sometimes we had to buy for them, and we said, okay, now we first do this cattle, then this cattle, and we took breaks and then moved the people around, especially when the people was only 10 and 50. So that was the biggest one. The problem for the COVID, but otherwise throughout the COVID, I think the farmers mostly got very good prices throughout the COVID still, and the biggest impact was, like I said to him earlier, was the drought. The drought of 2019 was the biggest, and that was a lot of the animals were slaughtered at Meatco, and also the animals that died on the farm. The numbers on the farms was cut, and that's why we're still feeling that impact. Still now, the animals is the numbers that come into the auctions is not that we usually get like the previous years.
Fenter says this is their latest auction pan, with events scheduled to take place every second Thursday. Animals undergo a rigorous inspection before an auction, and the man for this job is Cecil Shitamisa, a senior animal technician in the Agriculture Ministry.
Normally, when the auctioneers have got auctions, where an animal health officials is sent to the place to do a spot checks on the animals. So what actually happened, a farmer apply for a permit which is valid for 7 days. Then after that, the animals need to be registered on the database. So all these animals are having tags. Those tags are having individual tag number. So they are registered on NAMLET system, whereby those numbers are written on the permit and it accompanies the permit to the auction pens. So what you have got to check here, we have got to check whether all the animals are having tags and whether they are registered on the database. And you also check whether they are exhibiting any signs of notifiable diseases.
Windhoek livestock auctioneers have more than 7 auction pens across the country where livestock farmers get fair compensation. Although the event saw a smaller attendance than usual, the organizers say it was a success.
Growing together, I think that means progress and not leaving anybody behind.
Walking hand in hand.
Working or walking?
Both.
Together means we're pulling our weight.
You know you are never alone, and that is a very good feeling.
You can expect a win-win future.
If we're in it together,
we can grow together.
Who would I like to share my future with?
Somebody who cares for me.
I think someone I connect with that gets me.
Definitely someone willing to walk the distance. You know, put in the work.
Someone that has a track record of success.
Someone who knows our future is bright and worth the investment.
When growing together, I foresee a prosperous future, a secured future.
Sharing a lifetime, having a common objective.
Complete honesty.
I expect to see a future where there are no inequalities.
Buy shares in the initial public offering of MTC, which opens on the 20th of September 2021. It is a future worth investing in. MTC, make the connection.
Get ready to enjoy Simba's sounds of flavor.
All the Simba flavors. Let's roll. Liza, smoke beef. Kwanga finiga. Shaya chutney. Shakita mud.
Together we roar because Simba roars with flavor.
In other leading stories, the 250 million Hosea Kutako International Airport Congestion Alleviation Project's completion date is set for the end of September 2021. The specialist equipment, such as the baggage handling and reclaim, will be commissioned and operationalized towards the end of October 2021. The project at Hosea Kutako International Airport, which is a short-term project to address the current congestion and ICAO compliance shortcomings, is well on track with slight delays experienced due to the COVID-19 pandemic, particularly in 2020 due to health-related restrictions. The project is aimed at doubling the handling capacity of the airport to accommodate increased passenger movements up until 2030. These include, but are not limited to, the increase in check-in counters to a total of 18 counters with additional 5 self-service check-in kiosks, an increase in the departure security screening points from 2 to 5, baggage reclaim facility increase from 2 to 5, amongst others. The project also accommodates an increase in the departure immigration counters from the current 3 to 7 counters, while the departure hall will be increased in size to accommodate the growing passenger movement at the airport. On arrival, the new departure hall, as an extension to the existing terminal, will also see increased space for movement and 17 immigration counters compared to the current 8, while the baggage reclaim hall will be expanded and be fitted with 3 model carousels to 5. Aerolink, Fly West Air, Ethiopian Airlines and Eurowings Discover are calling at Hosea Kutako International Airport at the moment, and more airlines are expected to return and increase frequencies. Namibia Airport Company provided 95 million Namibia dollars towards the project, with the rest coming from the Treasury.
Black and White Deo protects me and my favorite outfit. That's why I feel confident and free. With 5 times Deo Action formula, I stay fresh and protected for 48 hours, and my clothes stay stain-free. Try SA's #1 anti-stain Deo.
Growing together, I think that means progress and not leaving anybody behind.
Walking hand in hand.
Working or walking?
Both.
Together means we're pulling our weight.
You know you are never alone, and that is a very good feeling.
You can expect a win-win future.
If we're in it together, we can grow together.
Matutho kukwika ndino ndi kushamuhuka tukare novini korwa vingi.
Who would I like to share my future with?
Somebody who cares for me.
I think someone I connect with that gets me.
Definitely someone willing to walk the distance. You know, put in the work.
Someone that has a track record of success.
Someone who knows our future is bright and worth the investment.
When growing together, I foresee a prosperous future, a secured future.
Sharing a lifetime, having a common objective.
Complete honesty.
I expect to see a future where there are no inequalities.
Buy shares in the initial public offering of MTC, which opens on the 20th of September 2021. It is a future worth investing in. MTC, make the connection.
Joseph Shifeni is standing by for today's edition of Business on One and Economic Indicators.
Welcome to this evening's edition of Business on One. I'm Joseph Shifeni. Nearly a month after a young local entrepreneur was denied an extension on land that he had initially purchased through a closed bid for $1 million, the Minister of Urban and Rural Development is encouraging local authorities to engage communities that might be struggling financially. The COVID-19 pandemic has disrupted operations for many municipalities, and the Minister of Urban and Rural Development, Erastus Utoni, said that he is aware that some of those who purchase land from municipalities might be facing challenges in fulfilling financial obligations. The minister emphasized that the pandemic has affected the income of some members of the public and thus encouraged local authorities to be lenient and to engage with community members and even grant extensions if necessary.
Much, I'm only paying this. Can I pay, this amount of money until such a time that I see things are now improving? So this is the appeal that we are appealing to local authorities. Of course, local authorities, they are also facing a serious challenge. Income, because you have to pay for the utilities, for the employees' salaries. But what we are saying is engagement is the most important thing. So that is the message that I can only tell you. It's engagement, a person to person, municipality to its community members. So that's what I can do.
Local entrepreneur Carly Kennedy, who purchased 2 erven in Swakopmund in November 2019, said that the council later cancelled his transaction without giving him sufficient time to make the payment. Kennedy said after approaching the Ministry of Urban and Rural Development, they are now considering engaging the municipality on the matter.
They are going to sit down, and he has to send the letter to municipality of Swakopmund, and they must give me extension. And himself, he said, what I need from you, don't guess, just tell me how many months we can give you extension. Then I tell him that we need at least 8 months. Then he say, yeah, that's proper, that's very good. We don't want to give you extension, a few extension, and then you come back and forth. That is really not good. So really, those are the leader we need in the society. They are really making us happy. They are problem solver. So regarding to this CEO and all the members of the councillors to municipality of Swakopmund, they are failing Harambee. Harambee is not only about mass housing project or road structure, either small or big, so long it is happening in our country. It's glorifying Harambee's name. So, and this project is part of Harambee, although we did not even approach Mr. President that we have this project. No, so it's moving in our country, and this part is for our youth. I want Mr. President, with his cabinet, they must stand up and start visiting town councillors and the municipalities, because many municipalities, they are failing us. They are failing the youth.
Kennedy said that he plans to develop the land and build businesses that will employ fellow youth. He encouraged entrepreneurs not to give up when denied the opportunity through bureaucracies, but to approach relevant government offices for assistance. Thank you for watching. Join me again next time, and don't forget to follow us on our social media pages.
Are you a CMAS member? Did you know that should you need medical treatment, you have access to quality private hospitalization, guaranteed specialist treatment in private hospitals across Namibia with Complement Gap. Complement Gap is a complimentary product for CMAS members only, which covers the shortfall between what CMAS pays and private hospitals charge. You and your family have more than 2 million in medical gap cover per year at a very affordable price. That's not all. You also have access to emergency evacuation within Namibia and $10 million international travel cover for those unforeseen events abroad. Take the financial burden off your shoulders, invest in your family's health. SMS GAP to 999 555 and we'll contact you. Terms and conditions apply.
Time now for Comments Corner, your daily dose of comments from our social media pages. The Ministry of Home Affairs, Immigration, Safety and Security has once again put out a stern warning against members of the public who enter into and facilitate fake marriages, noting that the practice often occurs between Namibians and non-Namibians to ensure the non-Namibian security of residents in Namibia. Palace says they should just be arrested as faking documents is a crime. Christine wants to know where such people can be reported. Tisnaldo notes that some of these men have wives in their countries. While Ngatupae says just like businesses, foreigners are given better deals. And Josiah Shipingana recently represented Namibia at an agricultural training program in Zimbabwe. He now wants to share the knowledge gained with fellow Namibians as he emphasized on the importance of sustainable food production and agronomic farming. Nasi congratulated Josiah on doing an amazing job. Rosemary says she is so proud of him, adding that his love for food security in Namibia is amazing. That is all from Comments Corner. Be sure to post your comments on our social media pages for broadcast only on Today on One.
Every Saturday at 7 p.m., you can stay true to Namibia sounds with the Valentine's True Music Sessions. Only on 99 FM. Stay tuned. Stay true. There's no wrong way. Valentine's. Not for sale to persons under the age of 18. Drink responsibly.
Time now for today's sports update with Chairo Musiandaka.
Welcome and thank you for joining me, Chairo Musiandaka, for this evening edition of Sports on One. Considered as one of the fastest growing sports in the country, horse racing in previous years has hosted successful events which have brought many people together. 2 weeks before their horse racing event, the Kawandeka Horse Racing Club was financially boosted with a total of 600,000 Namibian dollars for the next 3 years, thanks to Standard Bank Namibia. More on this story from our sports desk.
Announcing the sponsorship, Standard Bank Okanja branch manager highlighted reasons why the bank has decided to partner with the club.
It is the beginning of a relationship during which we hope to do our humble bit of continue to cement the place of horse racing as one of the most popular sports and active sports disciplines in the country. Horse racing has indeed grown in leaps and bounds over the past few years. The Horse Racing Association leadership, as well as the respective club leaders who from the association must be commended for the hard work which has elevated the status of the sport thus far. Our involvement with the Okawandeka Turf Club is our contribution to create a full economy out of horse racing. We believe that sponsorship of the Kawandeka horse racing event goes beyond the numbers of horses that will compete against each other. We see this sportship creating value for the horse owners, the jockeys, stable managers, the catering industry, and the clothing industry, as well as the general horse racing fan base. Through our sponsorship, we want to grow and sustain a value chain and indeed make a full economy out of horse racing. It is not impossible. We just need to believe in our dreams and our abilities to make things work.
On behalf of the Kaundeka Horse Racing Club, Marketing Director Grace Puyatura expressed gratitude towards Standard Bank Namibia for the financial injection. Puyatura also noted that getting sponsors on board for horse racing is a big challenge for the industry.
The club started as a family initiative, but today it boasts a membership and it's actually 100% owned by its members. The horse industry is an important part of the economy. It creates jobs. Racing has a unique capacity to attract people from all backgrounds. All the sheer range of people who go to the race course and participate in a sport eclipses any other leisure pursuit. It is important to create the channels which ensures that the sport and all those with an interest in it successful future can convey their views. We must be connected to the sport and the industry as a whole through formal and informal processes, and Kaundeka aspire to be an integral part of such processes. Kaundeka Horse Racing Club passionately cares about the greater good of the sport, and these trends will continue unhindered. Professionalism and the highest standards of integrity is our key themes. Sports like horse racing have real significance to business that constantly change, modify and define. Hence we have to be open to the same need for change. A major challenge will be working out how we can change the minds of people, businesses who are currently close to the idea of partnering with racing. We need to get behind the views of absent blue chip sponsors. I'm sure the director of ceremony touched on that when it comes to what COVID has, the impact that COVID had on each and everyone. So sponsors need to come on board. It doesn't help whether it is for Kaundeka, but for all the horse racing clubs that are actually trying to make ends meet. When you think about it, a horse is of the most extraordinary phenomena we have. This industry preserves its species and also an entire population that nurture that species. Racing is the best thing ever. It brings happiness.
The Kaundeka Horse Racing Club will host their annual horse racing event on the 2nd of October 2021 at the Okahanya Turf Club.
Well, that's all we have time for you this evening. Join us again tomorrow for more Sports on One, and don't forget to follow us on our social media pages. Back to you, Maggie.
Thanks a lot, Charo, for the latest in sports. Time now for the weather forecast.
Time now for the weather forecast. The interior will be sunny and hot in the west and south. Elsewhere, partly cloudy and hot with a few thunder showers in the central, north and northeast. The coast will be partly cloudy and mild, and wind will be light to fresh southwesterly. Now let's have a look at the minimum and maximum temperatures across the country and beyond.
We have come to the end of this evening's edition of Today on One. To join us again for a repeat at 9:30 and 6 a.m. tomorrow morning, as well as the Omnibus on Saturdays from 9 to 2. From me, Maggie Forciero, and the rest of the team, till next time, it's good night.
The International University of Management, a Namibian university dedicated to its people's future, a hub of abundant opportunities.
We are IUM for life. We are IU.
I like rhinos. I like them very much. Future here in this area is depending on the tourism. The future generation, they can see and they can benefit from their own resources. Animals like rhinos, elephants, the big five, you benefit from them and it must be respected. You are not feeding the rhinos, you are not giving them order, so it's a free business. I take two of my sons, which was little bit 5 years old. They were young guys. So they asked me questions. Why are we here? Why are we sleeping here? I told them this is our resources and this is our future. My first memory of going with my dad is that I learned new things. As I grow up as a man, I see an opportunity in it. So I decided to look for a job pertaining tourism. So that's when I was employed at Palembang. So I decided to go for tour guide studies. Because I grew up with the tourism industry, the wildlife, the rhinos and everything, to bring that experience to the tourists. You can see the hyena. The biggest change is I was employed, getting paid, and also I can now support my family.
It's a cultural thing. It's coming a long way. Even if you go to area like Treverfontein, area was a lot of paintings. You will see rhino engravings on the rocks. That is an indication that the interaction between human, especially the local communities and wildlife, is dating back. That intimacy relationship is coming for a long time.
We are right here now at Palembang, and Palembang is one of the big lodges in the heart of the desert. And as you can see there is Jumbo standing behind me, which shows it's really a tourist area. We do have elephants, lions, but as you can see, the desert is the heart of the rhinos. This is the main breeding area of the rhinos, is what we found here in this desert.
It's the largest free-roaming population of black rhinos that you find outside national parks in the world. It's a population that communities in the northwest have taken responsibility themselves in managing this population with the structures that government has put in place, more specifically the establishment of conservancies.
These people, before independence, they took it upon themselves and decided that wildlife is our heritage, and through history we've been living with wildlife. And having wildlife in your area is like having a garden.
Because of all these animals, we've got the communities that benefit from all this wildlife, and it's like a triangle that fits into each other. And the communities looked after the wildlife doing their own thing, and the communities benefit.
So already there were this intergenerational relationship between mankind and wildlife, and that bond is what our people actually wanted to see it continuing.
Very few countries have the wildlife that Namibia has. What is also important is the policies that Namibia has put in place, which also involves communities to be engaged in the management of the wildlife species and also to benefit from the wildlife resources.
Turn conservation into a rural economy, turn conservation into endless opportunities that would actually cater for those young people that have nothing else to do.
If it was not for rhino economy and tourism in this area, it was really difficult for young people to get or find a job.
We are conservation engineers. We make conservation work in an unfenced area, and through that, we want to turn the wildlife into the rural economy that will benefit the rural communities.
So we can see now wildlife is doing very well, the lodges are doing well, and the community is also benefiting. So it takes all three together.
Devastating hit over coronavirus fears. Airline industry is facing its biggest threat to travel since 9/11.
Since March, when COVID-19 hit Namibia, things actually become very difficult. In the first place, all the lodges closed down because of COVID-19. With us, say the Rhino Trust, we had some donors cutting on their funding. And then we had, in the same time, a poaching case of 2 rhinos that was poached. We had less boots on the ground, and poachers could actually see. Now it's our chance to go in and do something. So COVID-19 was tough on all of us. Ginger Morning, who is one of our trustees, actually came up with the idea of, why don't we ask you to go to buy some gold for us and make gold bars, and then we sell them for rhino conservation.
I was fortunate enough to have a chance to have lunch with Clive Johnson, the CEO of B2 Gold in Vancouver, Canada. And I looked at Clive and I said, we've got rhinos, you've got gold, let's do something. Let's create a coin or a medallion or a bar using your resource to create a sustainable source of funding for rhino conservation for the future.
There was it. The gold was bought, the bar was made, and I think it was 31st of January that we launched the bars in Windhoek. And suddenly one morning I had an email from my office, from my finance person, saying, these people don't have salaries. So I said, oh, what now? So I picked up my phone and I phoned Mark Dow. I said, Mark, I've got this problem. He said, but we've got the fund already ready for you. You just have to apply, put a proposal in.
1,000 ounces of gold can make an enormous difference to the livelihoods of the communities that live up there. We are, in essence, providing income and providing a livelihood to the communities. In the absence of tourism, especially now with COVID-19, even prior to that, when we had such a bad drought, the communities became even more dependent on the natural economy.
The idea is to make this a fund that will last for the next 25, 30 years, or even longer. And a portion of that will be distributed immediately as needed. And in this case, the COVID-19 crisis necessitated us to distribute funds to pay salaries to help people in the field.
The proceeds of the sales from the gold bars will be going towards responsible NGOs. And we've identified Save the Rhino Trust as the key NGO. And IRDNC, one of the first organizations that was in the Northwest, integrated rural development and nature conservation, so that ultimately the funds go to the communities and various aspects of their war on poaching.
To be able to support those hardworking men and women that are always in the front line between the poachers and the rhinos.
If it was not for B2 Gold and the golden bars, I think by now we should have been in big trouble.
By extracting the gold, you reinvest it in other renewable resources.
The gold that's coming out from the ground is actually protecting the wildlife that's working on the ground, which is a very good symbol for the others.
I wish this was my bar. This is the 500-gram gold bar. So you'll see on this side you've got the Etindeka Mountains and you've got the mother rhino with her calf. And then on the reverse side, we've got the serial number. You've got the Rand Refinery stamp, which is very important. Anywhere in the world, people will recognize the stamp and they will know that this bar contains 99.99% gold.
It is gorgeous.
We wanted to make a biggest contribution. And at Ballowwood, we see that as a way of giving back to the community.
Okay, so there you'll see the 500 gram bar.
Very special.
Feel the weight. It's incredible.
This opportunity which presented itself is absolutely a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity.
We're privileged to have this.
This is just absolutely gorgeous, and I think this showcase really what the project is all about.
It's from 24 karat Namibian gold.
I'm looking at these rhinos is put there like Miss World photogenic, I would say.
There are only 1,000 of these gold bars, rhino gold bars, in circulation.
As far as I'm aware, it's the largest single donation of any corporate to the conservation of biodiversity anywhere in Africa.
Therefore, we so much appreciate and would want to continue as a government to work with B2 Gold.
And the fact that it's happening here in Namibia is something that we can all be extremely proud about and very grateful to B2 Gold.
Thanks to having this literal pot of gold through the funding for the Rhino Gold Bar, we're able to step in now and make sure that those trackers are supported, and so are their families and their communities.
We make sure that people sustain their jobs going forward, and who doesn't want gold?
And the B2 Gold Rhino Gold Bar has come in at a really critical time now, particularly with tourism being closed off and those forms of revenue not coming in.
To say we have the biggest rhino population or black rhino population in the world, let it be for the rest of our lives. And it's that heritage that we have. It's our resource that we can all look after and protect.
It's our heritage. And it's also good that other people like B2 Gold are also seeing it that way.
It's actually a very nice link between the investor that buys this gold bar, the rhino tracker in the northwest of Namibia, and the black rhinos. It's an intergenerational thing. The rhino trackers teach their children how to track rhinos, their children get taught, and so it flows down.
This is something that I want my children to have, and that we leave a little bit of a B2 Gold legacy. And if I can be part of that as part of my family, I'd be very proud.
It can also become an inheritance for the generations of my own clan. My children, my grandchildren.
If we can bring that passion over to future generations and to hand that over to my children, and I hope that that same passion for conservation gets migrated over to my kids.
And what we've done together is create a sustainable source of funding that should outlive all of us.
You know, I think as far as B2 Gold is concerned, we couldn't have chosen a better target in which to put our efforts as far as the environmental and conservation pillar is concerned. And I want to stress there that the money that's going towards environment and conservation is actually going towards the people.
Rhino is for all of us, whether you are in Canada, whether you are in Vancouver, whether you are in the US. If you really want to see conservation at play with rural communities, I therefore humbly request each and everyone to join us on our Rhino tour and have a wonderful experience. This is what keeps rhinos on this planet.
I've done rhino trekking experience. It was just amazing walking in that landscape of the Kunene. And as we followed them, we could now find rhinos with the calf. We got the closest distance we could.
It's a warning sign.
And it was just amazing and lovely. Something to experience that Namibia can offer. It's something that you have to do in your life.
Say